Hello friends, welcome back to another video tutorial from Shomu's Biology, and in this video we are going to talk about the blood glucose test report. And this is one of the most important tests and almost done for everyone almost these days. Everyone more than 30 years of age, they need to go through the screening of blood glucose level or blood sugar level, whatever you call blood sugar level, blood glucose level. So we are going to talk about the blood glucose test report analysis and the blood glucose normal value, blood sugar normal value. So let's talk about it. I have tested it for myself. So there are two types of blood glucose test actually. One is the modern test, and then another one is there which is known as a typical blood glucose test. I believe many of you heard of the fasting glucose and PP glucose test, right? Fasting glucose and PP, right? So that is the conventional one, but there is a new test which is known as HbA1c. Okay, HB means hemoglobin, HbA1c. Okay, so HbA1c is measured. So let me first show you the report. This is my report. You can see HbA1c report, which is done by HPLC analysis. And with the help of HbA1c, we not only can find out the blood glucose level for the time being it is tested, but actually we can measure how good our body is to manage glucose for about 3 months. Okay, so that's why it's really an important test these days. HbA1c. Okay, HB means hemoglobin. Remember that. Okay, so for people without diabetes, the normal range of this A1C of hemoglobin between 4% to near about 5.6%. That must be less than 6% or less than 6.5%, depending upon the type of test that is done. Remember this reference values that are provided, that this reference value may vary from different lab to lab and all these things. Okay, so let me see that in my case the value is 5%, and as I said, for a person who is regulating the blood glucose very well, their value must be somewhere between 4% to 5.6%. In my case it's 5%, so it's completely fine. I have a very good management of blood glucose in my body. Okay, so for a good control is less than 6.5% as per the guidance, right? And if it is 6.5 to 7%, then we can say it's a fair control. We cannot say the glucose is really high, but you can say it's a fair control. But if the HbA1c value 7% to 8%, that means it's an unsatisfactory control of blood glucose in the body. That means in that case we need to test the blood glucose level random, as well as we need to test fasting level of blood glucose in the body. We need to test the after food level of the blood glucose in the body. And if the value is more than 8%, then you can say it's poor control. Okay, and the reference is given. If the value is below 5.7, then we call it as a normal range. In my case it's 5%, so we call it as a normal range as per the ADA guidelines. And if the value is more than 5.7 and less than 6.4, we call it as a pre-diabetic. So all the person who tested for HbA1c, if the value ranged from 5.7 to 6.4, then you are pre-diabetic. That means you are on the verge of becoming a diabetic. So control your sugar uptake in your body, and also have a proper lifestyle adjustment in order to regulate that. You don't need any medicines now. Simple lifestyle adjustment will help, like exercise, regular exercise, and also eating habits, and all these things can regulate it. Now if you have the value more than 6.5%, then you will be called as a diabetic person, and then you may need the treatment of medicine. And depending upon what percent this value is, the degree of treatment, the line of treatment will vary. The average blood glucose is also calculated in my case. It means the spot blood glucose. Any time in the body, if you prick it and check the blood glucose level, in my case it was found out to be 97 milligram per deciliter, which is also normal. The value must range from 90 to 150 milligram per deciliter. That is of a good control sign. If the value is more than 121 to 150, that is fair control. If the value is 151 to 180 milligram per deciliter, that is unsatisfactory control. And if the random blood glucose level in the body is more than 180 milligram per deciliter, that is known as a poor control, and that means you don't have a proper control. That means you are diabetic, and you need to regulate the blood glucose, and you need to find out the underlying cause of your high blood glucose level, and you need to get rid of that cause, because there are several causes associated with the high level of blood glucose level in the body. Okay, So this is the test that you always must go through right now, because this is going to tell you your habit, this is going to tell you how your body is reacting towards the glucose level in the blood. Okay, so apart from that, again the normal test is also performed, which is of a less price. Obviously this test is HPLC based test, so it's a little costlier test, not everyone can afford it. So most of the people in India still consider the fasting and PP sugar test. So in this case the test report is shown here, for not for mine, in this report is for some other person of 66 years age of a male, and you can clearly see that the test for blood glucose, F means fasting, blood glucose PP means after food, and you can see the method is GOD-POD method is used, the old age method. The observed value for the blood glucose in the fasting is 90 milligram per deciliter. The biological range or the normal value is 60 to 100 milligram per deciliter in the fasting. Less than 100 must be there for fasting, and for this person is 90 milligram per deciliter. That means it's also normal, no problem. But blood glucose level post food, you can see it is 73 milligram per deciliter. The normal range is 100 to 150 milligram per deciliter. But this person has a less value, 73, which is a significant drop from 100. The minimum is 100, it is 73, significant drop. So you can consider that person has trouble maintaining the blood glucose level. That means in this case the person has a low blood glucose level. So this person may be associated with sugar fall and associated problems in the body. So we also need to check, it's not always if the sugar is high that creates the problem. In our body all the parameters must be maintained in proper way, that is known as homeostasis. That's why there is a range of upper value and a lower value. Anything upper than that is bad, anything lower than that is bad, because in this person they have a problem. If the value is more than 150 milligram per deciliter, that also can cause severe problem. Okay, so this is the idea about the fasting and PP sugar. So remember, not all the reports are same. So many reports only highlight the values if the values are not normal, but in this case the highlight values are present for both. But the first one is normal, blood glucose level in the fasting was normal, but blood glucose in PP was abnormal. So it's always a possibility that if your fasting sugar is normal, many people may do only once because it takes less money. But people say if the fasting is normal, so my PP may be normal, but it's totally wrong concept. Your fasting can be okay, your PP may be problematic. Your PP can be okay, your fasting may be problematic. Depending upon what is the situation, the line of treatment will be decided. So obviously always check for blood glucose, fasting as well as PP. And if possible, spend a little more and go for HbA1c, okay, A1c hemoglobin analysis. That is really important, because this hemoglobin, the hemoglobin in the body can bind with different glucose as well. So glucose conjugate of hemoglobin. So hemoglobin can bind with any of the monosaccharide sugars like glucose, fructose, galactose. So once it binds with the monosaccharide sugars, we call it the conjugated hemoglobin, and that is one, the HbA1c, conjugated hemoglobin. By seeing the percentage of conjugated hemoglobin in the blood, we can easily dictate whether our blood glucose level is properly maintained or not. Okay, so that's all about the blood glucose test, okay, or blood sugar test report analysis. So if you like this video, please hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to our channel to get more and more videos like that in future. Thank you. Bye.